Welcome to a special series of Anoki Uncensored, guys, where we are featuring the stories of 20 years of phenomenal sponsors and partners who are coming together to make Anoki's celebrations happen. You guys have been hearing this for the last few weeks. We are so excited. We are coming very close now to the actual event series. You have seen all the kind of domination across our social media platforms and our newsletter and all of our content platforms. And I'm so excited to be bringing this to you today, because today we are showcasing the Western Toronto Airport Hotel, our hotel and venue partner. This stylish, high-end mid-size hotel is located at 950 Dixon Road, Toronto, very conveniently located right in the Pearson Airport Strip. And I just want to make sure that you guys are fully familiar with that area. I know that all of you guys who are not in Toronto and are traveling back and forth know that area very well. Those of you who are, looking for a hotel that is very well catered for the business traveler, this is a great choice. Now, without further ado, I want to chat about the hotel and its umbrella brand, the Eastons Group of Hotels. Please welcome its ambassadress, Reetu GUPTA, a dear friend and somebody who knows everything about this brand and truly where it is going into the future. Reetu, thank you so much for being on, my love.
Hi, thank you for having me, and congratulations on the Emerald Anniversary of Anoki. This is amazing.
Oh
Amazing.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, today is all about you. So let's talk about you. I want to start by sharing a little bit about the story of the umbrella brand. Can we start there? Because it's such an interesting and important story for people to know who, don't really know who you are and where you came from, and that this is a true success story, a true immigrant success story. Tell us a little bit about that, Reetu.
100%. I love telling this story. So my dad, Steve GUPTA, he came to Canada with about $100 in his pocket. And his dream, actually, when he was in India, his dream was to have hotels here in Canada. So when he came to Canada, he bought a truck stop that was in Port Hope, Ontario. So that's about 40 minutes east of here. And so, to be honest, when he brought this truck stop, he was the only Indian for miles, All of the customers, all of the past owners, they were all not Indian. They were all Canadian. They were all Caucasian. And to be honest, the owners were amazing. But the guests and the truck drivers that were stopping at the gas station, once they saw my dad and they saw that he was Indian, they decided to be very racist. They decided to go on their radios, on the truck radios, and started telling everyone, and forgive me, they told everyone, don't stop at this truck stop anymore. It's owned by a Paki. So my dad, being my dad, water off his back. He did not care at all. He went in his suit and his tie. He pumped gas every single day. He it did not even faze him even a little bit. And that truck stop was actually owned by Mr. Bill Easton, which is where the company name came from, Eastons. At that point, naturally, because there weren't a lot of Indians in Canada, we hadn't changed the name yet. And honestly, my dad was able to convert that truck stop. It became the highest selling diesel and gas station in all of Canada. And
wow.
Yeah. I know, that's my dad. And that's what grew to where we are today. So today we have about 25 hotels, and they're all franchises. So we own Hilton's, Marriott's, and ISG. And then we're all under, the Eastons Group is a part of the GUPTA Group, which is our family parent company. And within the GUPTA Group, we have a VC firm, we have real estate, we have hotels. So that is sort of the story of the brand and where we are today.
Let's talk about the mission of the company, Reetu. What is the overarching mission? Let's share that, because you just talked a little bit about just a number of tranches and departments that come under the umbrella. What's the overarching mission?
It's so interesting. We've actually been talking about this mission within all of our companies, across all of our companies, which is amazing. And I think for Easton specifically, which is where the Weston is, it's all about family and it's all about hospitality. And I think especially for South Asians, hospitality is so dear to our heart. And we want our guests to always feel like they're home. And that is the most important part of Easton's, and that is the most important part of the Weston. And something that I hope all of you will feel when we do all of our Anoki events, that is the most important thing. We want you to feel like family. We want you to feel like home. That is sort of our service promise at Easton's.
Absolutely. And whether it is a vacation type of stay, or whether whether it is for business, that one mission of people feeling like they're at home is truly, you know, what you guys stand for. It's what your reputation precedes itself in that regard. Let me ask you this, Reetu, what makes your company stand out in the marketplace? I kind of feel like you answered that question with the previous one, but let me ask you in case there's something we've missed there.
Absolutely. First of all, physically, I would say that all of our hotels, we really kind of supersede all of the brand expectations. So we have Hilton Garden Inns, we have the Westin, we have Marriott's, Hilton's, IHG, we have a new hotel that just opened downtown. And, you're given sort of brand standards of how you should build. But my dad and I always like to supersede that and exceed that and make sure that our hotels stand out and they're one of a kind. So in terms of the physical offering, we always make sure that we sort of exceed expectations. And on the service offering as well, we want to make sure that all of our guests and our team especially is always happy and feels like family. And I really do feel that that's what sets us apart.
Absolutely. I want to ask you this because it's something for people who are watching, listening, and reading this. It's important for them to know, because when they hear stories that are as big as success stories as, your family's is, they oftentimes don't know that there's been probably more challenges than successes, even though the successes are what we see. What has been the biggest challenge that you've had to face as a company, as a family business, and how did you kind of overcome it? Like, let's share that a little bit. And I feel like there's so many, but is there one that maybe is overarching or one that has been reoccurring?
Naturally, when the economy sees recessions, it's going to impact our company completely. And in 2009, when there was a recession, we actually kind of took the brave step of opening one of our hotels, which is right in the heart of downtown. And then COVID, of course, I'm sure any company will say that was the hardest thing that we had to go through. And naturally, there was not one industry that was not touched by COVID, unfortunately. And everyone took a hit. And as we all know, hospitality took a severe hit. So this was really tough. And I think for us, what my goal was to come out of it was to make sure that not only do our guests know that Eastons is here for good, but that our staff knows that too, and that our team knows that too. So unlike other hoteliers, we kept all of our doors open. So we kept about 80% of our properties open, even though we were sitting at, maybe 6% occupancies on some days.
Wow.
The purpose was not, okay, let's just keep it open blindly, but it was more so I wanted to keep and retain as many jobs as I could and to have the doors open. If there was anybody that needed to stay, they needed a place to stay. There was a lot of people that decided to, what was that word? They wanted to isolate, or they want to be away from their family and just be safe. We wanted to make sure that we were able to provide that. So we kept our doors open, and it was so hard. I think everybody has sort of horror stories about COVID, but specifically for the company, COVID was definitely the hardest thing to have to go through.
Absolutely. I want to ask you the flip side of that. To date, when you look back, stories perhaps that you've heard from your father in the early days, what have you seen to be the company's biggest success? Again, I feel like you've just answered the question, but I'm going to ask you, what is the company's biggest success to date?
I think everyone in our company would define that differently. And for me, success is related to happiness. And because I had shared that our goal and our mission is to make sure that everyone feels like home and feels like family, for me, when I felt that we hit a point of success was when we had staff. Naturally, in Toronto, it's a very small industry. So people leave and they come back and they go on pads and they come back. But a few members that decided to come back to Eastons after COVID, they told me, Reetu, we just wanted to come home. And for me, that's when I felt that, touch wood, and I just felt blessings, because that's all I wanted. I wanted our company to feel like family, to feel like home. So if our team is happy and they have that feeling, for me, that is how I would define the greatest success.
Absolutely. And that's what gets you through the hard times that you mentioned previously, right?
100%. 100%.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the Westin Toronto Airport Hotel. This is the hotel that Inoki is hosting its 4 events. One is a private mixer with all of our sponsors and partners. And then we have 3 public-facing events happening on June the 16th and the 17th. 2 of them are on the 17th. We have so many very specific things that we're doing for these 3 events, and to find a space anywhere in the GTA that is one space that can accommodate everything that we're doing is such a difficult task to accomplish. But the Westin has it all. So a lot of people out there who, tend to go into the city, or they'll go way, way out to be able to kind of figure out how to do events that have so many moving parts. I'm here to say that the Westin, right at the airport, is the one that you need to go visit before you go do any of that work. Because first of all, convenience-wise, you don't have to go into the craziness of the city. Very easy for people to be able to get to the venue, especially if you're planning on doing a wedding or a conference that is multiple days, just like our event series. We're doing it for 4 days, a lot going on. And we want to be able to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to come to the venue and all of that stuff. This, honestly, guys, you're hearing it from me, someone that's been doing events for 20 years at every different type of venue location imaginable in the GTA. This is my choice, that I would absolutely come here and do it again. Reetu, I want to ask you this. Can you share a little bit about the hotel's uniqueness? It's, services, some of the things that they can look forward to when they do come here, whether it's for doing something like we're doing, a multi-day, conference or event series, or if it's a staycation where they just kind of want to get away, maybe with the girls or, with their, significant other. Talk to us a little bit about what people should see and expect to get from the services at the Westin Toronto Airport Hotel, 950 Dixon Road, Toronto.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. We're so excited to host you all. We're so excited to have you in the building. We cannot wait. We're just so honored that you chose us to have the event with us at the Westin Toronto Airport. The Westin is such a unique brand of Marriott's. And the one thing that the Westin does really well that they're about is about lifestyle. It's about happiness. It's about life balance. So for example, if you decide to stay with us at the Westin and you want to go for a run, or you want to go, find a park nearby, if you go to our front desk, they will literally have lists of these types of lifestyle things that you can do. They have extra running shoes for you. There's the brand is all about that. It's all about taking care of your needs, making sure that whatever you want, it's kind of whatever you want, whatever you need, it's right there. And this is exactly what the Westin is about. We renovated recently. All of our guest rooms are pristine and beautiful. There's been a lot of my girls that have gone there for staycations, and they always say the same thing. It's just peaceful. There's something even in our lobby, we chose colors that inspire peace. There's purples and blues, and there's a water feature, and it's all about instilling that level of peace. In terms of events and business meetings, we have rooms in all sizes, and we have offerings in all ways. So we have the second floor of the hotel, which is also full of light, and it's an atrium, and it's beautiful. You can have board meetings there. I've held a lot of my own meetings there. And then we have the ballrooms, which you'll be using, which are huge. And the Sun Ballroom, I mean, there's also, when you have large open spaces, you can't, as you said, you can't find that downtown. Downtown, your buildings are very small. They're very close. It's just much more difficult. You're going to have noise violations after 11. Your next door neighbor is going to call cops on you. You won't have that here. And I think it's, there's just, as you said, it's very versatile. So whatever you need, whether it's a small boardroom, or you're doing a stag, or you're doing a gala event, we're able to accommodate you at the Westin, which is wonderful.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited, Reetu. I'm so appreciative and so honored that you guys are hosting us. This is such a landmark event for us, as a South Asian multimedia and events company here in Canada. It's very difficult to have even gotten to these 20 years and to have partners like you guys and all of the companies that have come on board to help us celebrate just the overarching success of the South Asian community in Canada. It truly is a testament to you guys. You guys have helped us make this happen. And I'm so appreciative of you guys and all of the partners and sponsors that, are a part of this. And I want to ask you this, because I feel it's really important for budding professionals, someone like yourself who, has been literally in the, the hotel and the real estate, etc. business since the day you were born. You've seen it all. You've seen everything that's happened, all of the highs and the lows. And this is the big thing for budding professionals and entrepreneurs, to be able to kind of make sure they sit with and understand that it's not about what's happening at this moment, but kind of where you're headed with this moment. I want to ask you this. What do you feel that you wish you had known back then when you started, that you know now, that potentially you feel could have changed things for the better, even though we know that we're guided to be in the place that we are today anyway. I know that you're going to say that.
It's interesting because I actually just had this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday in terms of regret and how do you live with regret? And I think regret is such a negative emotion to have. So for me, in terms of decisions that I've made, I wouldn't look back and say, God, I wish I had done this because things would be different. I can definitely give advice in terms of what I would advise people, especially when they're starting businesses. Number one would be to delegate. I think very young, and maybe this might come across as ego, but I promise you it's not. I knew if I did something, I'd be able to do it faster than a normal human because everybody would say, Reetu works really fast. I knew that. So if I knew that, it's my own company. So if something has to get done and I can see that everyone's going at a very slow human speed, I would just do it myself. But the problem, what I would just do it myself, is everyone flew into it. They all just started giving their work to Reet. So I think I think that at a young age, I didn't know delegation. I didn't understand delegation. I felt that it's my company, it's my responsibility. And I did have a colleague that would always kind of gently try to tell me to delegate, but I didn't learn it until I was much older. So I think I think when it's your own company, and I know you can relate to this too, when it's your own company, you want to do everything your way, but you have to also balance your mental health and you have to balance your sanity. And I think delegation would be one of those things where you really just everyone delegate. It's okay if it's your own business, don't worry. Delegation is so important.
Oh my gosh, I feel that is the big one that every single human that has a role of responsibility, whether they are, in the, corporate sector, whether they're in the entrepreneurial space, whether they are, working at home. This is the one thing I feel that everybody needs to learn from the get-go as well, sweetheart, because I was the same. First few years, I felt that, I got to control this because nobody knows what I know, but everybody knows more than you know. You got to just give them space.
100%.
Oh my gosh. So to close off, Reetu, I want to ask you to share where should we send people? Like that you guys have so much stuff going on, and I want people to see what you're up to. Like you mentioned, the new hotel, which is a new portfolio for you guys that you bought on, which is the Canopy in the Yorkville area in Toronto. Very bougie vibe, guys. You got to go hang out there. It really is the spot for the summer if you are in the city. Let's send people to your socials, let them hang out with you guys and see what you guys are up to.
Absolutely. So for socials, that's easy. On Instagram, just follow at Eastons Group, and you'll see, all of our hotels are down there. If you're looking for URLs, do people go to websites anymore? I'm not sure. But if you're looking for URLs, then it would be eastonsgroup.com or the GUPTAgroup.com. Both of those sites will give you all the information you need. My office is now at the Canopy, so come have chai with me, have coffee with me, come downtown, come visit me. So yes, absolutely. They can follow any of those accounts.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. I really appreciate the time that you've given us here. And I really do, hope that everybody goes and hangs out with the Eastons Group. They are a immigrant success story to the highest level. And I love these types of stories. They're the stories that have, made the success of our community in Canada and beyond. These are the stories that make up the success of the South Asian community, guys. It's why Anoki gets to celebrate all of these years telling stories just like this. Thank you so much for being on, Reetu. You are such a delight every time I bring you on, such a wealth of wisdom, and just your energy is palpable. Thank you, my love.